when we were looking and trying to find someone to present a viewpoint of what being a veteran is, it was this young man stepped forward and said that he would be honored and glad to do this, and we're glad that he did. We want you to be able to hear a present-day veteran, and his bio is in the program if you got that, so I'm not going to read that, but I will say that Chief Gabriel Zaldivar is a very impressive individual. His wife Tiffany is here today. We're glad that they were able to make it. And I do not want to steal any of his thunder, so at this time I'd like to introduce you to Chief Gabriel Zaldivar.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I would like to thank the event coordinators and sponsors for organizing this event, for allowing me to speak about my experiences in the armed forces. I would also like to thank all the military members, whether active duty, reserves, separated or retired, and their families for attending on this Veterans Day. I was asked to speak about my last appointment here today, which brought back a lot of emotions, both good and bad. The last time I was overseas was spring 2010 in Afghanistan. I spent over a year total in Afghanistan, broken up in phases between 2007 and 2010. Each time you thought you had seen everything and something new would get thrown at you. The first time you enter a war zone, you don't really know what to expect. The only visualization you have comes from Hollywood, video games, and the local news. The reality starts to set in before you even land. As you start the final approach into base, the air crew on the aircraft all of a sudden show up in the aisles wearing bulletproof vests, asking everyone to turn off the lights and shut the window shades. The airplane is about to go full dark for landing. They do this in case there are terrorists close to the airfield with shoulder-fired rockets waiting for a target they can see. Once you land, you go and check into your home away from home. For me, it's a 500 square foot wooden shack they shared with 10 to 15 other people, with the only privacy being beds that divided each bedroom. That probably sounds horrible for P3 sailors and the best accommodations possible for ship sailors. The day-to-day routine for me consisted of waking up, walking 50 yards in gravel to the bathroom, and getting ready for work. Driving to the flight line, prepping the aircraft for its mission, engaging in a not-so-friendly foosball game with the pilots, and watching our aircraft take off. We would then head over to the galley and enjoy whatever themed meal they had that day. My favorite was Mexican. Next, we would go to the mini-mart and see if there were any new movies out, even though everyone knew the only day you got new movies was Tuesday. After all the excitement, we would head back to work, play some cards, play some video games, call the wife, call the parents, fill up our time until the aircraft came back, and we would go back to our room. The night would usually end in bed, looking at family pictures, and drifting off to sleep watching movie 300 for the 15th time. It was a pretty normal, simple routine. And got old quick, but you didn't really mind. You didn't mind because you knew that there were soldiers manning the watchtowers, forward deployed in smaller bases, sleeping in tents, eating MREs, that had it way worse than you. On other days, it wasn't so normal. You would get woken up by explosions, and you figured it was our own aircraft on the practice range until you heard the siren, which meant get your gear on and get in the bunker. You would hear the Apache helicopters fly overhead, looking for enemies in the mountains, with mortars or rockets attacking the base. Usually an hour would pass by and you would get the all clear and try to go back to sleep, which typically didn't work out so well. Later in the day, you would find out that during the latest attack, We lost some of our finest in a mission that no TV cameras would ever cover. Then came one of the most beautiful and saddest events I have witnessed in my life. The event is called a Fallen Comrade Ceremony. All available personnel stand in a circle and do a roll call. Once you get to the fallen soldier's name, they call it 3 times. There's silence. And the person who was closest to that member says, "It appears that person is no longer with us." Then they go into a remembrance speech on the comrades past and the family they are leaving behind. At that point, we make our way to the airfield and stand side by side up to the aircraft, taking the soldier on his final village home. As the vehicle carrying the fallen soldier slowly makes its way to the aircraft, hundreds of people individually hand salute, in their own way, thanking that soldier for the ultimate sacrifice in service of his or her country. That's just one example of what it means to me to be a veteran. When I see a rescue helicopter take off in severe crosswinds, pilot barely keeping control as it struggles to stay in the air, you know they will do whatever it takes to reach that soldier calling for help. That's what it means to be a veteran. Because there's a camaraderie there, a brother and sisterhood, that will see you take care of each other, whether at war or at home. Sometimes I feel awkward when people come up to me and thank me for my service. Part of me thinks that I'm just another person, and anyone would do what I do. Another part of me thinks that the people currently deployed should be getting all the praise, because they are the real heroes. Regardless of what I think, thank you for taking the time to make the armed forces feel special. Whether it's a handshake, a care package, a meal, or this Veterans Day program, everything the community does for the men and women who have worn the uniform shows how amazing this country is. And it contributes to the hundreds of people who raise their hands every day, willing to take the oath and defend this country, the United States of America. God bless you and God bless this country. Thank you.